Good afternoon. Welcome to the Midday Mull for Wednesday, the 4th of March. Continuing to read through Paul's second letter to the Corinthians. We have the third chapter today. And Paul says to the Corinthians, he hasn't got any letters of recommendation because they themselves are his letter of recommendation. Everybody can see what happened to them and how they've been changed, and that is a recommendation for his ministry. And then he continues in verse 5 and says, not that we are competent in ourselves to claim anything for ourselves, but our competence comes from God. He has made us competent as ministers of a new covenant, not of the letter, but of the Spirit. For the letter kills, but the Spirit gives life. And here is Paul saying that his competence comes from God. It is God that makes him competent. If anybody could have claimed personal competence, it would have been Paul, with his rabbinic background, his Jewish heritage, his passion for the church, passion for the gospel, the work he'd put in. And yet he says, no, it's not anything that I've done. My competence comes from God. Our competence comes from God. He's quite clear. And for me, that's a great encouragement, because in ministry, I found that as well. That at times I've done something, a service or a sermon, and thought, that went well. The illustrations were good. It was right on point. The delivery I thought was good. And I come out and one or two people, oh, thank you, that was a very nice message. And it's a non-committal kind of response. You think, And at other times I've planned a service or done a teaching and come away thinking, that illustration didn't actually work and I got that wrong, and I have all sorts of questions around it myself. And yet then find that people say, that was so good, it was right on point, and I've been wrestling with these issues and God spoke to me. And I realize it's not me. It's absolutely not me, because that was incompetence, but the competence came from God. And I don't think it's only in ministry. I think this is in all of our life. That if we think we've got it covered, particularly or specifically in our Christian walk, in our Christian witness, in our Christian conversation with people, we think we're going to do it. We won't. It'll fail. In our outreach, in our witness, it's all about God, and it's the competence He has and He gives to us that makes a difference. And so therefore be encouraged as you go out, that we can pray, say, God, work through me. God, so I'll do what I can, which is often not very much. But God, you can do immeasurably more than all we can ask or imagine. And He does. And so as we engage with people, as we tell our story, as we go to the shops, as we meet people over coffee, go to the book club, go to the running club, wherever it is that we go and we socialize and we mix with people, we say, God, work through us. It's not something that I can do. But like with Paul, we recognize absolutely clearly that not that we are competent of ourselves to obtain any of this. We aren't, but our competence comes from God. So my prayer is that each one of us will be competent from God in carrying the gospel light into our community and world. And as we do that, God is glorified and we are blessed.